Welcome to part number 4 of the Metroid Zero Mission 9% run. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, we don't do too much in this video, but everything we do, we have to do. So in this video, we're only going to kill one boss, which gives us nothing. The boss doesn't even give you an item. However, it does activate some sort of railway system. I'm not really sure how to describe it. We'll see it later, but you have to do this. It is required to get through the game, so we have to do this. But first, we have to do some backtracking. Gee, Metroid and backtracking. Those two go together like peanut butter and jelly. Actually, I'm not the biggest fan of peanut butter and jelly. I much prefer peanut butter and fluff. You guys ever had that in elementary school? Absolute bliss, I tell you. Super good. If you haven't had peanut butter and fluff, or just fluff in general, go to your grocery store right now and go get some. Anyways, back on topic. Getting all the way back to Brinstar isn't that tricky, but it does involve some advanced routes. So, you need to know where they are, pretty much. There's not much way around it, but once you know where they are, it's not like they're difficult to access or anything like that. There's really not that much, hard platforming or, it's not bad at all. Anyways, this wall crumbles and it allows us to go over here, where we see a broken Chozo statue. I'm not exactly sure why that's broken. I never really understood. But, yeah, that Chozo statue is broken. There's nothing there. Anyways, if you go through a few secret passageways, you can access a nice little shortcut right there. It's helpful to have. There's also one coming up here. At this point, you also need to master the wall jump. If you played a lot of Super Metroid in your time, then this part should be very natural to you. I will say that the physics in Zero Mission are actually quite different than Super Metroid. I've played a ton of Super Metroid, and it's a really great game to me. I absolutely love it. So coming into Zero Mission, my first time, I felt a little bit uncomfortable with the controls and the physics, but I got used to it pretty quickly. It's not too dissimilar to Super Metroid. It's a small adjustment you have to make, but like many other things, once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. I'm not going to say the physics are necessarily worse than Super Metroid, because I don't think they are. I just think they're different, and different isn't necessarily bad. Change is a good thing. Sometimes. Only sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Anyways, we have made it back to Brinstar. Brinstar, I pronounced that one wrong, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. I don't know. There's the charge beam. It's still sitting there. It never actually disappears. I don't know why it would disappear, but regardless, it never disappears. So if you ever feel the urge to pick it up, it's there for you. So go pick it up if you want to. Anyways, now that we're back in Brinstar, we have to make our way to Kraid. Yes, Kraid, the other boss in the game. In a normal playthrough, you go to Kraid first, but this is obviously not a normal playthrough. We go to Ridley first. So yeah, I don't know. You can actually do either or with some sequence breaking, but yeah, there was a recharge back there if you want it. I think they respawn, like the Chozos. They're not respawn, but I think you can go in Chozo statues multiple times if you leave the area. Maybe that only applies to some of them, or maybe I skipped that one. I don't think I did, but I'm pretty sure. I'm actually almost positive on this. I'm almost positive that if you leave an area, you can use Chozo statues again, or at least some of them. I think the ones that are like navigation statues, I think you can use those ones multiple times, but I could be wrong on that. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, we are now in Kraid, and I absolutely love the music in Kraid. It is absolutely amazing. And while we're walking, I might as well talk about the soundtrack of this game. I think it's actually really good. I love the Brinstar remix, although there's just something about that, 8-bit classic Brinstar, just something about it. It just has a charm that, I don't know, not many other 8-bit themes can match. I absolutely love it. It's exquisite. Absolutely exquisite. But this game definitely did a great job with the soundtrack. I have no complaints. All of the songs are excellently either composed or remixed. Actually, are there any original songs? I think there are. Yeah, there are. There are some original songs. Anyways, this part right here is kind of tricky. Actually, it's not that tricky, but I said it was tricky, so believe me. You have to find your way to that passageway, otherwise you won't be able to progress. I actually got lost there my first time playing. Anyways, this part is kind of tricky. Normally you can just hop on those rail things, but if you do that here, you will collect the energy tank. So you need to use an infinite morph ball jump in order to attach yourself to the rail and avoid the energy tank. It's just a small little trick you have to do. It's not that difficult, but yeah, you gotta avoid those energy tanks and those missile expansions and all that stuff. Anyways, here's our next boss. It is I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be, but regardless, it's a big acid worm type thing. This thing isn't too hard, primarily because you can get an easy, you can easily replenish your missiles. Whenever it misses you, it will shoot out a bunch of spike things, and usually they drop missiles, especially if you have full health. So yeah, just follow the same cycle I do. Go to one side, hit it, go to the other side, collect more missiles, rinse and repeat until the boss is dead. It's not the hardest boss in the game. It's not that bad at all. It's actually one of the easier bosses. Although you can get hit by it and you may fall into the lava, but that should not be a problem. You should be just fine. And like all the other projectiles in the game, they will also drop health. I think they don't drop health if you have maximum energy. I think that's where I got confused in the last video. I think those projectiles will only drop health if you have, or only drop health if you don't have maximum. Anyways, also, this boss will also raise the lava during a few parts. It's not a big deal. Just hop on one of the higher platforms and you should be able to avoid it just fine. Anyways, with that boss dead and the railway system activated, we can progress through the rest of Kraid, which isn't that hard, and we can make our way to Kraid himself. Now, normally the game expects you to get the speed booster. In fact, they kind of expect you to use this, the speed booster to get out of Kraid's room. However, we're going to use, how do I word this? We're going to use an acrobatic maneuver in order to get out of Kraid's room without the speed booster. But that won't be coming up until part 5. I actually really like what they did with Kraid in this game. I think it's my favorite Kraid ever. Anyways, to avoid this missile expansion, you have to drop down in the lava and do some wall jumps. Not that hard, but just thought I'd let you know in case you were wondering. Anyways, this is the end of the segment. Thanks for watching. I will see you all in part number 5, where we go take on Kraid. I'll see you then.